everything has happened to me in an unplanned way. That's where the beauty lies, where there is no difference between thinking and happening. It's just out. That's where intuition is.
Let me introduce to you, we have with us Dr. Jay Madan, a spiritual mentor.
I believe in transformation personally, which I only work on myself. If I don't like X, I will work on myself.
How did you actually become what you are today?
I was spiritual in the way of meditation, but giving words to my thoughts is what philosophy helped. Our world is created when we start using words. Nature also tries to give us a lot of warnings. This is not right. This person is not right. This mindset is not right. This behavior is not right. Eventually, when you don't understand, it just feels, what are you even doing? Are you listening? Sometimes you have to choose your happiness over happiness people that you love the most also. That this point and this opportunity is for the moment, and I'm not going to lose it.
Hello and welcome to Unplanned Life with me, Ambika Singh Kama, a podcast where we explore the art of navigating the twists and turns of life. And today, we have a very special guest who helps many of us whose lives are unplanned to plan them. Let me introduce to you, we have with us Dr. Jay Madan, a spiritual mentor. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Madan.
My pleasure.
As we delve into your fascinating world, there's Vastu, there's healing, there's astrology, there's so much you do. Tell us a little bit about how planned or unplanned was your life to reach where you are today.
Absolutely unplanned, if I may say that. Unplanned to the point where I had no idea that this is what I'll be doing. I had certain inking that I'll be helping people. How? I had no clue. My parents never believed in the science of astrology. My mother is a Sikh, so we've been raised like a Sikh. So actually, I never met an astrologer till I became one. So for me, nothing could be as unplanned as my profession would have been.
Okay, so totally unplanned. Yeah. I mean, it's not that you were seeing, like in your daughter's case, she's seen you and, we'll come to that later. But Dr. Madan, then how did you get into astrology? Of course, you're helping so many people. When we look at, also you have 7.5 million people on Instagram, social media, and there are a lot of people who come to you for advice, look up to you. How did you actually become what you are today?
I was very young, probably 8 years old, when I was able to touch people's hand and say things about them. I still do that. But at that point of time, it wasn't recognized, appreciated, or promoted in any way because, my parents just thought that I'm a storyteller. And I used to say things to people, like I was very young. My Masi reminded me a couple of years back where I told her that, aapke ghutne badle jayenge. So a child who's maybe 9 or 10 at that point of time and talking about a technology that never existed, at least for me, at that point of time, was something that I used to say to people, this will happen, that will happen. So my parents used to just feel that...
Kahaniyan bana rahe.
Ha, correct. And I also thought that maybe this is it because I had no exposure. Usually, people have pandits coming at their home or they have astrologers coming at their home. We had no clue. All we had is Granthis coming to our home and Sukhmani Sahib and Japji Sahib. So this wasn't our world. Even going to temples also was not a great exposure. So the way my understanding about Sanatan and gods and goddesses, which is so much I'm passionate about, and I decode it as much as I can, is a gift. Because that's not part of my upbringing or my conditioning or anything like that.
Clearly, if you could touch someone and tell them, which I'm going to ask you after our podcast, so I'm like, what age did you realize you want to make this your profession? Before we get into your personal life.
I was very young. I was married. I was 21 when I was a mother. So my daughter and I have actually grown up together. We've raised each other. But when I was pregnant, I wasn't just prepared, to have a child. So that was one time when my spirituality, I was always a spiritual person. I started meditation when I was 13 years old. Yeah, that is also another story to it. But I have never stopped meditation since I've turned 13. Now I'm 41 right now. 41, yeah. I'm 41 right now. So it's approximately a 28-year-old journey with every day, even on the wedding morning after Fairas, I was meditating. That's the first thing I did.
And that time meditation wasn't, not too many people were talking about it.
It wasn't a fad. People used to think they're mad. What do you do closing your eyes? Yeah, it wasn't very well appreciated. But it has it just became part of me like drinking water every day. It wasn't in my hands. And again, as I said, it was not something that my parents could also understand and comprehend. But while I was pregnant with my daughter is where my intuition and the insights I used to get or the visions I used to get were very vivid. I mean, I just couldn't get away with them. I could see what I'm doing now at that point of time without understanding that astrology is going to be a way to it.
So did you work on your intuition? I mean, do you think meditation, of course, helped you, but do you think you worked, or of course you were gifted since the age of 8, but did you ever work on your intuition any way that you could?
It has been a gift, but I never, it's just like if you have a little child who tells you that, mom, you have a young son, you know, if he comes up and say, mom, you're not looking good. And you say, just shut up. What do you even know about color sense? All right, after maybe a week later, he again feels the same way and he feels, mom, you're not looking good. But if you brush him off 7 to 8 times, do you think he'll come up and say you the 9th time?
He'll probably think he's wrong and
Yeah,
doubt
he'll just
himself.
say,
Yeah, he'll self-doubt.
let it go to hell. How does it really matter to me? So that whole exercise of coming to you and expressing will go. Similarly, our intuition is just like a tiny baby voice. When you don't give attention to it or you do nothing about it, it eventually stops. So there is no way that you can actually make it grow in the way of just meditation, but also listening to it is where you make that voice louder. Where at one point of time you realize that even before you comprehend, it's out. That's where the beauty lies, you know, where there is no difference between thinking and happening. It's just out. That's where intuition is.
So you found your calling, you got married, you had your daughter, and then you, like you said, you all actually helped each other grow. You always talk about, through your videos, which I watch, you always talk about, you know, your family, the importance of your family, balancing life. How supportive or not supportive was your husband? Because you were clearly very young at that point.
Nobody, and my father and my husband both are from a business class family. And I had this itch. I tell people when they don't have problem and their mind is sharp, they create problems because they don't know what else to do with their mind. So I was very young in my college days, first year of college. My college was very close to my home. I was Miranda House alumni. So first year of my college, I think second month of my college, my father told me college 4.5 kilometer dur hai. And the car should not drive more than 20 kilometers, like 5 kilometers going, 5 kilometers eyeing, 5 kilometers, you know, like a...
He's keeping a track on you.
I mean, he just asked me, what is your car doing? Like 40 kilometers, 50 kilometers every day. And I did not answer. And I went and picked up a job in a coaching center, which was coaching computers to the students at that point of time. It was called Aptima Coaching Center. There's this nice Sardarji there. And I told him, I said, mujhe paise nahi chahiye. I'll come. 12:40 my class ends. By 1 p.m. I should be here. I'll work till 8 p.m. I don't want any salary. The conversion that I do for you, and you give me commission out of it. He agreed. So after 17 years, till date, I've never taken 500 rupees from my father or my husband or my father-in-law, nobody ever. You know, so I also knew that I have to do something.
You wanted to be independent.
I have always been independent. Wanted was not a choice. I was in it. And then first salary I had in my hand at that point of time was 4,500 rupees. 17-year-old girl. And I told my father, I said, गाड़ी तो मैं नहीं खरीद सकती, पर आज के बाद पेट्रोल मेरा होगा. You know, I'm not going to ask about 50 kilometer चलाई कि 100 kilometer चलाई. It is my problem. So everybody understood that this whole attitude of being rebel and independent was inbuilt in me. And it was very important for my journey.
Yeah.
Because had I been little lazy, laid back, or, you know, not somebody who has this innate desire or DNA inbuilt to be independent, I would have never worked.
Dr. Madan, not just independent, to shine and help so many people shine. I mean, you bring so much joy to so many people's life, help them out of so many challenges. But now, today, I mean, your parents, you know, seeing where you are today and your husband, what do they say about that now?
See, I always believe and say in life ki charte suraj ko salam. You know, when you grow, when you progress, everybody appreciates and basks in your glory. And it doesn't really matter to me. And it's not that nobody ever, you know, what do I say, contradicted or try to control me. I mean, for me, it has been always clear. I don't give choices to people. If I have to do something, I declare. I don't ask. I've never asked in my life. And I don't think at this point of time, at my mid-age, I can be tamed or could be in a position where I sit and ask. I believe in giving freedom and I believe in utilizing my freedom. मुझे लेनी नहीं है कहीं से. I'm born in an independent country.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very independent.
Yeah.
So for me, if somebody is doing something and I don't like it, I'll express it, but I don't expect anybody to change. Eventually, I know if I don't like it, I have to change.
Yeah.
Why should I ask anybody
The other
else
person's
to?
not going to change. Yeah.
It's not my expectation also. But I believe in transformation personally, which I only work on myself. If I don't like X, I will work on myself. I'll not even express this most of the time. So I have been brought up in a self-introspective way.
Yeah.
That is the only gift I had, because I have extremely simple parents. So it has never been something where there's discussion happening or क्या पढ़ना चाहिए, क्या college में subject होगा. Everything has happened to me in an unplanned way. I was in first year college. I scored well. God knows how, being extremely naughty. But I've been an above average student. उस time पर college में इतनी आफत नहीं होती थी. 80s
was good. 75% was distinction.
Yeah,
our time.
so I was a distinction student and I got admission in Miranda House in BA pass. मुझे तो यही समझ थी कि अरे अच्छा college हो गया. And there is this guy who was in the office center, and somehow he developed a fondness for me, just like a fatherly fondness. And he spoke to me and he said, तुमको ना ऑनर्स लेना चाहिए. तो मैंने कहा ऑनर्स में कौन पढ़ाई करेगा? इससे पढ़ाई वढ़ाई ज़्यादा नहीं होती है, पर नाम हो जाता है. तो मैंने कहा अच्छा नाम हो जाता है तो फिर क्या करना होगा? इससे 5,000 रुपये की पर्ची कटाते हैं और एप्लीकेशन देते हैं. फिलोसफी ऑनर्स में सीट अवेलेबल है, तुम्हारे मार्क्स जो हैं तुमको फिलोसफी में ले जाएंगे. सो लेट्स ब्रिंग यू फ्रॉम BA पास टू फिलोसफी ऑनर्स. मैंने कहा फिलोसफी में होता क्या है? सो ही सेज कुछ नहीं, ऐसे भगवान की बात होती है, ऐसे नहीं, मेरी पसंद का टॉपिक है, कर दो. And then after going through philosophy and getting my teacher who actually understood that there is something different to me, and I never had friends in college, like not even one. And I was working also. So the way she mentored me, even at distance, and because of the subject I was studying, that became my base. I was spiritual in the way of meditation, but giving words to my thoughts is what philosophy helped. Now, this wasn't my plan. I mean, I never knew that subject like that existed. My parents still won't know what did I graduated in.
Yeah. So actually that office, the person in the admin probably, he was God sent who got you to the right line.
Everybody in my life, including the people who help me, people who work for me, or I have worked for somebody, is all being God sent. I say I'm the most pampered child of him. He gets up in the morning at my time and decides what can he do to pamper me and keep me happy all through the day. So I have been kept like this.
So clearly, like the podcast is unplanned life, it's really worked well for you, and that's what we are like trying to say. Sometimes
it's my trust, and it's not that 100 times it happens the way you like it, but I don't shake. I don't shake it to the point that even when my daughter Arna was born, and I was just 21 years old, and she was born to me, and doctors came and told me that her intestine is rotten, like this much part of a newborn baby's intestine was rotten. And you know how Punjabi families are, ladki hai, sharir pe daag hoga, koi defect ho gaya to kya hoga, you know how the language is also not too comforting. And all I did was, for 3 days, I had a cesarean in the hospital. I only closed my eyes and I requested everybody that I only want my mother to be with me. And I only meditated. For 3 days, I did not leave God's feet, from my mental image. And I said, what you have given, you have to take care of it. I never asked you to make me pregnant. I never asked for a child. I wasn't prepared for one. Now that you have given all through the life, I'm going to be guardian of the child and you're going to be the parent. And it went well.
Wow.
Yeah. So 10th day, I got her after a major surgery. She was born in Gangaram Hospital, which is a very big hospital, best nursery in the city. But they couldn't understand what is this. So a specialist came from AIIMS, operated Arna. And when she was okay and she was given to me, he said, your daughter is a fighter. All through the while, she wanted the oxygen mask out and she wanted to breathe. So I knew this girl is going to survive.
And she's flying high.
Yeah, she is. I'm a guardian, but yeah, she's God's child.
Okay, how do you, coming to your work, I mean, hats off to you then. And it's good to hear it was obviously your faith in God and, whatever you believed and you manifested it. Dr. Mataan, how do you cope, when it comes to managing your home, your career, your daughter, as a wife? There's so many responsibilities on a woman. How do you de-stress? How do you manage both home and profession?
So I've never liked the word called responsibility. For me, it is always a priority. It changes point to point, but anything which is not a positive outcome or not a positive word, I delete it from my vocabulary. Like I don't know from how many years I've not used tired for myself. I've not used exhausted for myself because I don't use, my brain doesn't understand what it is.
Wow.
I can be up about working for 72 hours with just 2 hours of nap here and there, and I'm absolutely energetic without anything. So I've trained my brain to work in a certain way, but it only happens when your vocabulary doesn't understand that there is any other thing. Like for me, I don't talk about negativity. For me, it's only positivity. Absence of positivity could be anything. But for me, there's only one energy called God. Absence of God could be anything.
So being mindful of the words you're using, I think
Very.
that's something
For
that's
me,
something very
words
important for all of
create
us to
world.
take. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what happens to all of us. Our world is created when we start using words or understand their meaning. You know, mama, papa, jana, bahar, doggy, lala, dedo. So for us, the world is created when we understand words. So for me, it's very important what is coming out of my mouth. And if I don't believe in something, I don't say it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Just an advice, if you could give our viewers, for those who are like struggling, to cope with failures or difficulties or challenges in their life.
See, I believe that if you believe in anything over and above you, that could be God, that could be nature, divinity, universe, cosmos, whatever you want to call, but something is there, up there, which we know doesn't work as per our plans always, But anything or anybody who's out there is not in any revenge with you ever. I mean, किसी को क्या पड़ी है ऊपर देखकर that somebody who's wearing a red pantsuit today, I am going to trouble her.
Yeah.
So, we're too tiny to be in any position of any enormous, animosity or anything with that universe. So everything up there is working for our benefit, for our growth, for our transformation, for our evolvement, for us to be a better version of ourselves. Like if my daughter is just putting her hand in the plug, I might tell her 2 times, 5 times, 7 times. I might put a tape on the, the electrical point. If she goes to other people's house also and start putting it, I'll probably slap her to give her a shock that stop. What are you doing?
You hurt yourself, yeah.
So similarly, nature also tries to give us a lot of warnings. This is not right. This person is not right. This mindset is not right. This behavior is not right. Eventually, when you don't understand, it just feels, what are you even doing? Are you listening? And then, they just shake you up. If you are attentive and if you are aware that anything and everything is a message to you for your betterment and you understand, there's no problem.
Yeah, I think that's again a very important message. Okay, so now I have an ethics exam.
All right.
Which I'm going to wear my glasses since clearly now I can't see so clearly. Okay, Dr. Madan, what is more important, to be respected or to be liked?
Respected.
And why?
Because I feel that if you respect someone, you definitely like them. But it's not necessary that you like someone and you also respect them.
Okay, very well said. Would you sacrifice your personal values for professional success?
I think I am somebody who believes that values should always be modified. You can't have one value and stick to it and die with it. There is something where sometimes you have to choose your happiness over happiness people that you love the most also. But you eventually decide that, look, my first investment and responsibility and love is towards myself. And if I don't do it, it will not be for my mental sanity. And I can't give happiness if I don't have one. And for that, temporarily, if somebody is unhappy, so be it. Priorities change. So I would not say compromising of values, but I understand that this point and this opportunity is for the moment and I'm not going to lose it.
That's really, really, I think, well put, and gives out a message to so many strong women out there.
No, weak women. Yeah. I have been one.
So you've really come out of it. So that's why you're giving that. No, even for strong women, I think that's because very often
we women are trained to be brand ambassadors of peace. We think the train should change the track, but there should be no sparks. It doesn't happen like that.
Yeah.
If it is going to change the track, there's surely going to be sparks. It's okay. It's not going to
and
kill
it's just
you.
a spark. It's
Go
not
for
fire.
it.
Yeah. Okay. Would you prioritize the greater good or individual freedom?
For sure, greater good. That is one area where I'll compromise myself.
Okay. You're offered a lucrative business deal, but it goes against your personal values. What would you do?
Well, if it is not hurting somebody, and if I can convince myself that it is something which is not going to be extremely hurtful. Like I cannot do anything which can sell, like a nasha or a, like a drug
Yeah,
or
something, yeah.
like tobacco. I just can't do that, no matter what it brings on the table. So there is certain point where I cannot go down to. But if there is something which is a rigid value, then I'm somebody where I feel I'm stuck, I need to cut it. I'm stuck, I need to cut it. I believe in flexibility.
Okay, so if I was the examiner, clearly you've passed really well, and you think you've given a very important message. Okay, the next one, Dr. Madan, is superstition busters, I think, which we all would want to know from you. True or false? Breaking a mirror brings 7 years of bad luck.
Bakwas. Bullshit.
So just सामने टूटा हुआ शीशा पड़ा, ये नहीं कि उल्टा कर दो, फेंक दो. It's
So the point is that the message is that if you see a mirror, why was mirror even created? There was no mirrors there until French did a lot of work around it, and the whole era of mirrors came into being. From Prince Louis, I think 13th or 14th it started. But anyways, before that, when we read a lot of Shastra, we realize that Krishna used to look at himself in the water, and he used to fall in love with himself looking in the water. So, हमारे यहाँ प्रतिबिंब was water. The way to see yourself or reflection was water. But for how long can you keep looking into the water, and where do you find water when there's no water? So the only way mirror is to reflect yourself. But when you see a broken image and you look at it, it is also about somewhere a message coming that beware of your image. Don't do anything that you spoil your image. So to cut the spell or to cut the thing is to bring yourself to awareness, to this thought that no, I am cutting this thought, I'm cutting this moment, and I'm becoming more aware, was to cut it and break it or twist it back, that it's not going to affect me. It was your own mind programming. So there's no superstition about it.
okay. So what's the origin of the superstition that it's bad luck to walk under a ladder? सीढ़ी के नीचे जब हम चलते ना, कहते हैं मत चला करो. So
तो सीढ़ी के नीचे कुछ रखना भी अच्छा नहीं होता, बहुत ज़्यादा बैठना भी अच्छा नहीं होता, and chalna is fine because you're passing through, and if there's no way, there's no way. Because stair is meant for growth. Anything that is under your growth will always remain under your growth. That will not grow. So anything which is
important shouldn't be under.
Shouldn't be under the staircase, because this is your growth, and this is under your growth.
So like storehouse type आप रख सकते हो, but ideally
anything that is also dump should also not be a restrictive part for your growth. So your growth plan should be clean.
okay. That's again okay. What's the significance of applying a bindi or kumkum on the forehead?
So there was no concept of bindi until we had the whole system of bringing, industrialization or commercialization into it by sticking it with glue. It was ladies used to apply red kumkum, which is a external form of turmeric. Turmeric से ही kumkum बनता है. Or it was turmeric, chandan, kesar, and vibhuti, several other things like that. Now, when you put something here, which is usually mixed up into, say, like camphor, or which is naturally very progressed, it gives you a very soft sensation here. Now, the whole idea is that if you're applying, you have backache, and you apply that ointment, that you put it like balm, which creates a sensation. So for 40 minutes, you keep feeling the sensation, and it heals you.
Yeah.
Because the point is to bring your brain attention to that point, and your brain is only healing it. It's not going inside your skin and taking the pain away. Yeah. It's your brain which is going towards that direction and releasing certain hormones, and you're getting healed. That's what people do when they get things like Botox. And it's just like also sleeping the nerve, but you cut the collagen layer
and put
it so that brain is in shock, so that it heals. Now, similarly, when you put something which is stimulating here, you bring your brain to attention here. That means stay aware. Be here. Work on your intuition. This is the powerful chakra where you actually can see through. Not see through. So the whole point was to bring the attention here, not anywhere else. So that is why...
So it should be kumkum or the natural thing versus a glue, or is that equally effective?
No,
the glue
is useless because there's no sensation.
So
it's
no
dead.
Sensation. So it's actually the traditional, the old.
Correct. And you're mixing it with either camphor, you're mixing it with oil, you're mixing it with mustard oil to bring a sensation here. Like if you put sandalwood, there's a sensation, wo aapko thanda rakhta hai. That takes care of your aggression. You remain calm. So there was science behind it.
There was a reason and science behind it. Okay. What's the story, Dr. Madan, behind the superstition that a black cat crossing your path is a sign of good luck or bad luck?
Years back when Egyptians used to go in war, and cat was one of the pets for them, which is very, very active. The speciality about cats is that it is loyal to the place, not to the people. So whenever there's a movement in a house or in a palace or in anywhere, the cat is most aware. And it softly walks away without making the other person also conscious and the owner also aware that there's something happening there. Now, this person who's maybe a thief and a cat crosses by, so this person gets into a problem because iska motive pura nahi hua, so billi rasta kaat gayi. That means the other person also knows with the shadow and with the movement that something is coming. So that became a superstition from there. But bichari cat has nothing to do with it.
So again, it's totally...
That was logical then. It was said in a different way.
In a different way. Okay. Dr. Madan, why is it believed that cutting nails at night can bring bad luck?
Because at that point of time, there was no electricity. If you cut the nails and then you're making food also there, then it is traveling from your feet to your bed and then from your bed to different areas. So that thing which your body and gut cannot digest is going into your system because there's no electricity at night. You know, there's nothing. So hence it was supposed to be cut in the daytime, thrown at the place so that कुछ रह ना जाए, कुछ हमारे सिस्टम में ना चला
जाए. So
it
doesn't hold true now.
No, there's electricity now.
So लोग अभी भी कहते हैं, right? Like don't do. So
they can keep saying what they keep saying.
But it's again okay. It was then. Okay, now what's the craziest superstition that you have ever heard?
You know, जिस property में people का पेड़ हो वो जगह मत लो. Like I'm like the tree is giving 24 hours of oxygen. People say that Lakshmi Ma sits on it on Purnima. Why the hell will you not take a property like that? Like since my childhood, I've always been surrounded by a property which has a people tree, including one that I'm staying in. This is a huge people tree, and I decorate it, I beautify it because it's giving oxygen. Now, that was a myth then when people had kache makan. And people is fertile. It's most fertile. Kahin pe bhi ugata hai. Diwar mein, idhar, udhar. You know, with one little seed, it goes all over. So, which is nature wants you to grow. But us samay kache makaan the, a little earthquake, a little stronger root, and the house used to fall down. It was then. We are in concrete and, you know, like Sariya.
So don't judge me, but confession. So where I stay now, there was a chota people ka tree, and the Mali said you have to like cut it. So we did a puja. But I mean, again, like I didn't know. But clearly a lot of people, like you said.
Point is that the nature wants you to bring it out without hurting and plant it again.
Somewhere, that's
yeah. If you can't do that, then let it be.
Yeah, don't just kill it and just let it be. Okay, so do you believe in any superstition, and if so, why?
If I don't get logic of something, I just don't take it. If I have logic of something, then it's not a superstition. It's a sensibility for me. No, I don't believe in none.
Okay. And is there any superstition which you've had and you've outgrown ever? Like even before you got into this?
I think, you know, जैसे this thing, dog रो रहा है रात को, you know, you see a dog rowing, कुछ खराब होने वाला है. This was something that I've heard a lot. And each time when I was understanding the science, I used to challenge myself, and I used to hear this unconditional thing popping out and saying that, oh, dog is crying somewhere. And I used to say that, let me see. उसकी कोई personal problem हो सकती है, बच्चे को बुला सकता है, कोई ऐसी voice हो सकती है जो मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रही. Let's see within 24 hours what happened. 5 times, 6 times, 10 times. Each time I kept coming out of it and said, no, I have to drop it. I understand it's in conditioning. I know it's training my brain in a certain way, but only I can come out of it, and I have to help myself.
You did come out.
Yeah, I did.
Well, let me introduce our special guest. We have joining us now Dr. Jayamadan's daughter, Arna Jayamadan. Thank you for joining us, Arna.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Well, is it a surprise for you, Dr. Madan?
I wasn't expecting her to be part of this. I thought she'll entertain you, take care of little snacks here and there. But she's very camera shy person. If I have to get 1 or 2 videos done out of her, I have to really use my authority as a mother to make that happen. Yeah, she doesn't like it. She doesn't like to be seen.
So I'm clearly, I think, thank you so much.
Yeah, you must have really impressed her.
Okay, I feel good hearing that. Okay, now tell me, you started reading tarot cards, Arna, at the age of like 7, 8. You were pretty young, which also made you, I mean, you know, the youngest tarot readers at that point. When you look back, do you feel somewhere what your mum was doing then, that really influenced you to pick up what she was doing?
Yeah, because when I was 6, 7 years old, you know, at that time, tarot were too much in trend, you know, like, बहुत ज़्यादा चल रहा था वो. So I saw the tarot cards and I saw all those, you know, the figures and everything, and I got so intrigued, yaar, how can you just tell somebody's future or how their present is going or how was their past by just looking at these figures? You know, just like 6-7 साल के बच्चे के दिमाग में आता है. And then she, you know, she started explaining me. She was very, Mom was always there for me, you know, regardless how busy she was and whatever. She she was always patient with me in terms of whatever, जितना silly question हो सके मैंने पूछा, she used to explain it to me. So she did. कि ऐसे होता है वैसे होता है, and you know I just got a hang of it. And I just started casually doing it, and it turned out to be, you know, I was quite intuitive.
And no, but if you, I mean, you said you did it at that point, right? Did you have many friends? Did your teachers tell you, "Arna, हमारा भी कर दो, ये कर
किसी
दो"?
को बताया नहीं.
So at that point, you weren't doing it for yourself.
One of her school trips, the teachers asked her to carry the tarot card, and she was in a fix, and then she started blaming me, because of you I have to carry it. I said, well, that is how you have to add value to somebody's life. Why else will they appreciate you or want to spend time with you? If this is your value addition, then so be it.
So what's the most important thing, since we have Arna sitting here, I don't know whether she agrees, but what's the most important lesson you have taught Arna? And in fact, what
she
have
has
you
to
learned?
decide.
And what have you learned from her?
I have given her more than 1 million lessons. Let's see if she remembers even 3. All right.
I know.
Yes, she did a test on me. Let me throw it off. Okay, test. Okay. All right. 1. Tick tick 1. Tick tick 2.
That's putting under pressure.
Tick
It's
tick
like,
3. Under pressure, the best comes out.
Oh.
Tick tick 4.
okay, let her think. Come on, Arna. What are the 3 most important lessons?
So the best one was, you know, when I was in 6th grade, I used to waste so much food all the time. You know, मैं पूरा टाइम बाहर से खाना मंगवाती and I used to waste it. And मम्मी बिजी रहती थी तो you know पता नहीं लगता था mostly. एक बार ही पता लग गया. She's like, तू इतना रुपए का इतना मंगवाती है और ख़त्म भी नहीं करती. तुझको इतना अक्ल नहीं आता. What are you doing? And since that day, she जो भी pocket money मेरे को मिला है, till date जो भी मिलता है, जो भी मैं कमाती हूँ मिलता है, she asked me to write each and everything in the हिसाब. कि ये ऐसे होता है. मोर देन दैट घर का जितना ग्रोसरी का सामान आता है एंड यू नो ग्रोसरी का होता है, सैलरीज, एवरीथिंग आई हैव टू मैनेज इट. नॉट वेस्टिंग फूड एंड वैल्यू फॉर मनी, दैट यू नो हाउ मच इट इज इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर अस टू यू नो कि पैसे पेड़ पे नहीं उगते हैं, इन शॉर्ट.
Which is a very important, I think, lesson for every child, whether you have it or you don't.
More than that, by that she made me understood कि you know खर्चा कैसे कैसे होता है घर पर. मतलब घर का एक हाउस होल्ड संभालना भी इट्स अ बिग टास्क इन इटसेल्फ. मतलब इतनी आसान बात नहीं होती कि मैं चलो यहाँ पे सुबह ऑफिस जा रही हूँ, शाम को आके मैं फिर सबकी सैलरीज दे रही हूँ, घर का काम.
You did well.
The second thing which I love the most, which I till date do, is that you know when I was small, तो ना मम्मी गाड़ी में चिप्स के पैकेट, ज़्यादातर बिस्किट्स, पानी की बॉटल, ये सब रखती थी. और रेड लाइट पे जो भी बच्चे दिखते थे, शी यूज्ड टू गिव दैम. मुझे बड़ा अजीब लगता था कि ना दैट आई एम रोमिंग इन अ कार, दे आर स्टैंडिंग देयर, सो व्हाई डू वी इवन हैव टू इंटरैक्ट विद देम. प्रोबेबली यू नो हम लोग उन्हें और बुरा फील करा रहे हैं. तो मेरे को बड़ी झिझक होती थी, लेकिन मम्मी सबको देती थी पूरा टाइम. सर्दी हो रही है, कंबल, हर हफ्ते राशन जा रहा है उनके पास. नॉट इन
the art of giving.
आर्ट नहीं, बस उनके साथ. एंड यू नो फिर मम्मी ने मेरी गाड़ी में रखवाना शुरू किया कि आन्ना की भी गाड़ी में होना चाहिए. व्हेन आई वाज इन 10th 11th ग्रेड एक पर्सनल गाड़ी आ गई थी स्कूल से लेने जाने के लिए. मेरे को समझ नहीं आता था. मैं धीरे धीरे यू नो 11th ग्रेड से आई स्टार्टेड गिविंग एंड आई फेल्ट सो अलाइव. I mean,
The joy of
that
giving.
joy of giving to people who cannot afford it. दूर तक. I mean, you know, like उनको देते I still date feel कि ना मैं इनको चाहे जितना दूँ उतना कमाएं. I'm not saying it here just because of you know.
Yeah, I mean, you feel
I'm not showing it off or anything. I'm just saying that
But
you know
that's
I
something
learned
you
that
learned
thing from her.
Yeah, that's what
And
I asked you.
I never even tried to show it out in public. I'm very exclusive as a person. So I'll tell you, whenever Mama used to buy anything for me now, तो खुशी तो होती है, गिफ्ट आया है, ठीक है. She's like, पहले जाओ फटाफट मंदिर में जाओ, भगवान के पास रख कर, you should be grateful to him. मैंने कहा बट किस लिए? You're the one giving it to me. You think no, I can only afford this for you because you know because he's been kind.
Yeah.
It's
Grateful,
all
I mean, that's important. I think that's very, very important.
it's all his
So
grace.
it's our norm in our house that we don't wear anything directly to our skin. We don't wear or consume anything. It is first offered to God, be it food, fruits, clothes, shoes, jewelry, watch, anything. First goes to God and then we wear it. So we wear everything as a prasad.
Okay, and what do you feel of what she said? How proud as a mother do you feel today to what she's really imbibed in her life?
You know, when I counsel a lot of kids of her age, younger than her, older than her, when people come and tell me कि हमारा बच्चा हमारा बात नहीं सुन रहा, मतलब the child is not listening or the child is retaliating or the child is misbehaving, God is very kind, touch wood, may he always remain like that. I don't know what that means. मतलब मुझे पता ही नहीं. I've never heard a no from her. If there is something where there's a disagreement, we sit, We discuss, and within 3 months, not more than 180 seconds, we'll resolve and we get up. Either she convinced me or I'll convince her. Chapter over. So with us, there is no point about ego hai, choti hai. She takes care of me like my mother. And I give her the same respect of being, for me,
So it's not chota bada mother-daughter
you know, like
relationship.
people
it's
say, ghar mein Lakshmi aayi hai. When a girl is born, she's been related as a Devi. Because that's how you have to create and, you know, nurture a girl child. Also because of the sex ratio. So the words used for a girl child have always been like a goddess. घर में बेटा होता नहीं बोलते मेरे घर राम आया है. But बेटी होती है तो बोलते हैं लक्ष्मी हुई है. You know, बेटा होता है, nobody says कृष्ण हुआ है, राम हुआ है. So girl child have always been put it in a way where she gets more deserved. I have not said her a Lakshmi. She is my Lakshmi. You know, I live for her. I can die for her. So irrespective of what way she behaves and does, as a mother, I just don't, every mother loves their child. For me, I'm extremely expressive, and hence that makes her very expressive.
That's what I miss not having a daughter. But anyway, moving on. I have 2 boys, but moving on. Arna, okay, tell us about, you know, this unique art form. You know, again, at a very young age. I won't take your age in front of all our viewers, but at a very young age, you started, you know, Siddhi art. It's a very unique form. Tell us a little bit about it. And is your mom, how much has she helped you with that?
I mean, she's the one who motivated me like throughout the journey. I mean, you know, before we launched this brand called Siddhi, तो हम लोग घर के लिए, you know, she used to help me. हम लोग एक दूसरे को, you know, we really like हमारा almost sense बड़ा linked है एक दूसरे से, you know, so we understand art and whatever we do. तो you know, she really helped me out, you know, कि कैसे enhance करना. अच्छा तू ऐसा बनवा रही है, तेरे दिमाग में ऐसा idea, तुम इसको और कैसे enhance कर सकते हैं. Slowly, gradually, a lot of people saw it and they started placing order. And then she pushed me, you know, if it's doing so well and you are also so good at it, then why don't you start your work from here? I mean, who knows? So our entire idea of building these sculptures in silver or in different other metals like brass or in fiber, resin, but majorly in silver, was to, you know, not just add an artifact into our homes or into somebody else's spaces, but also add something meaningful to it. That, you know, कि वो एक sculpture सिर्फ उस जगह को ब्यूटिफाई नहीं कर रहा है, बट उस जगह पर वो प्रॉस्पेरिटी, पीस, पावर, ऐसी 10 और चीजें लेकर.
और अगर मैं पूछूं नाम, was it you? Did you use astrology to choose the word Siddhi, or was
So
it
my
she
name
like?
was Jai Lakshmi when I was born. Till 5th standard, I was called Jai Lakshmi. And I used to go to my school and everybody used to do my aarti there. Om Jai Lakshmi Mata. I used to feel very embarrassed. I told my dad that you have to drop Lakshmi from my name and you have to change the school. And again, I don't give choices. He had to do that. I still regret it till date that I dropped her from my name, Ma
At
Lakshmi.
that point, you didn't realize it.
I didn't realize it. But when Arna was born and I selected her name, later I realized it means Lakshmi. All the companies that I have, everything is dedicated to Ma Lakshmi. This is my payback.
And Siddhi
Siddhi also means Lakshmi.
Yeah, okay. So that's how. So it was actually a lot of thought process.
Yeah, so all companies that Arna is part of, I am part of, or the houses that we create, the properties that we create, it's all on her name.
Okay, so now we took your mom's examination, and we took her exam and she did really well, and I was very proud, gave her full marks. Okay, I'm going to have a rapid fire.
Okay.
And jump in if you think she's not being honest, okay? So Arna, riding horses or playing the piano? Because I know you do both.
Oh boy, no.
You have to choose one.
Horses.
Okay. Favorite travel destination?
Dubai.
Okay. One book you'd recommend to everyone to read, and why? And are you fond of reading? If not, you can skip.
No, I am. I've only read one book in my life. What was it? 48 Laws of Power? 46 Laws of Power. कितने? 6 से 8 है? वो नहीं याद यार.
48 Laws of Power.
Oh bro, crazy book. I mean, you know, when I read it, that's the literally एक book जो मैंने physically अपने हाथों से पढ़ी. मेरे को कोई शौक नहीं पढ़ने का. उसमें जो भी उसने लॉज लिखे हैं वो मैंने सिर्फ समरी पढ़ी थी. जो मुझे टॉपिक्स अच्छे लगे थे मैंने वो पढ़े थे. बट एनीवे after I read it when I was in 8th or 9th.
She brought it to her life. Yeah.
So she imbibed it.
I imbibed it. I loved it.
Okay, lovely. So now favorite hobby outside of work. And you can't say horse riding and piano because we've already had that question. What else?
What else I like to do? I like to dance salsa.
Okay. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
Louis XIV. I love him. I love him.
She saw that series Versailles.
Yeah.
And we went to Paris and we also saw Versailles. So Arna really felt that, she's fond of him.
Yeah, he's so smart. So smart.
So
Oh my
clearly that's a
God.
good intelligent answer. Okay, morning person or night owl?
Morning person.
Introvert or extrovert?
Oh my God,
I
extrovert.
don't like that. Yeah. Okay, book or movie?
Movie. Any
Okay, now
day.
spontaneous or planned?
Spontaneous.
How honest has she been?
Always, 100%.
I'm sitting with mom.
You can't. Okay, but just again, I wanted to, because Arna's of course told us about Siddhi Art. You've, also about this new app which you've launched, and I was Arna, in fact, was before telling me before we started chatting. Tell me a little bit about that as well, Dr. Madan.
So I always have been one of the most expensive ones whenever I started in my field, because I don't recommend people selling. I don't sell anything like a remedy. I don't recommend buy this stone, buy that. Whatever I earn is out of my brain, not out of my commissions. I don't believe in that. So my earning has been really, I mean, I'm one of the most expensive in the country. So I always knew that it's not possible for me to reach out millions. And my target here has been billion. I said, I'm not going to leave this earth till I've not made a difference. Helped is a very crude word. You help from here, you share from here. I share. So I know that till I don't touch a billion minimum, I'm not going to leave this earth. This is between him and me. This is my duty and I have to do it. So I knew that, and I'm horrible at technology and social media. मतलब मैं Instagram पे photo ही नहीं post कर सकती. मैं खोलूंगी नहीं because it scares me. I don't know what to do. God has given me kindest team, nice, dedicated people. सब अपने आप हो रहा है. मैं कुछ नहीं कर रही हूँ. There are only two categories of people in life. Either they're doers or things happen with them. या आप करते हो या आपके साथ होता है. मैं होता वाली category में हूँ. So it just happened. So I have always been on social media, been very honest that it should help. It should reach out to people who can't reach out to me. Let me be all out there. So then also I realized that it's not 100% honest. And when I started working, my first pact with God was that प्यार अपनी जगह और business अपनी जगह है. So आज के बाद हम 50% के partner हैं. 50% आपका, 50% मेरा, after cutting all the expenses. And the day you take 90% stake and I take 100% after the expenses, and I'm living the life I live, that means I'm successful. Till then I'm struggling. So I never call myself successful. I just say I'm still on the runway because I know where am I. Very shamefully, I'm still on 50. He's still on 55. I'm on 45. But at least he's majority now. Rest he'll do manage. So in my career, I always knew that the social media appearance is giving me fame also. It's bringing more work also. So it's not the kind of genuinity that I am supposed to give. With Janeman coming into being, because the podcast name is also Janeman. Janeman is, जब हम सुनते हैं तो मुझे लगता है, oh Janeman, oh Janeman. Janeman is a word, if you break it, you understand. It's Janeman, the one who knows your mind. Is somebody who you're closest to. That's why you call them Janeman, because आप उसका मन जान सकते हो. And मन is incorporation of brain and your heart. Your mind is all of it, everything of you. So the name was very intriguing, and I like to break the perceptions. I like people to see things in a different perspective. So Janeman initially started with the app idea, but my team wanted me to make it popular, make the name popular. Hence the podcast came, though I wasn't very keen about it. But मैंने कहा, sometimes you have to walk the path that you decide, even if you don't like it. So Janeman worked on 3 ideas, which is peace, power, prosperity. 3 P's of life that all of us are part of it, but we don't realize. In prosperity, we guide people without any fear, without any superstition, with logical. क्यों करो, क्या होगा? आप करो नहीं करो, आपकी मर्जी है. But it's our job to give guidance. So I have 350 astrologers trained by me. Soon we are going to have 1,000 in next 5 months. And without any marketing, we're doing well. Now we're going to start up the whole process. The power part is teaching the youth and everybody short courses which they can learn in lesser money, lesser time than they spend on a movie. 1/5 of a movie cost. And they learn by seeing somebody's watch what is going in their life. Because ये आपका वक्त है, आपका वक्त कैसा चल रहा है. Looking at somebody's face, looking at somebody's signature, talking to your animal, your pet that you have in your home. So this all we are teaching in approximately 3 hours or less, in less than a movie ticket cost, because
amazing.
that's our
Yeah.
contribution with different people of different field, where I've collaborated, removed insecurity in this field and brought it together. Now peace part has meditations. We have approximately 50 right now, and soon it's going to be 108, about abundance, weight loss, stress, anxiety, focus, confidence, you name it, and we'll have a problem and a solution. एंड द होल आइडिया वाज, अगर मैं आपको बोलूँ मेडिटेट कर लो तो आप बोलोगे अरे मेरा ध्यान नहीं लगता, मेरे दिमाग में आइडियाज आते हैं, मुझे नींद आ जाती है. सो हमने कहा ग्रेट, वी हैव कंबाइंड गाइडेड मेडिटेशन विद सम binaural beats and some green noises that you play while you sleep, and we'll work on your mind. It's just
I'm gonna
that,
try that for sure.
yeah, आप चला के सो जाओ, let us work on you.
So so even if you sleep, it's okay. Like
Because
many
your
times, yeah,
brain is
active,
always
yeah.
receiving
Yeah.
messages, your subconscious, and that's exactly what we are changing.
Well, it's really been a pleasure to have you.
Same here.
And I think even more to have Arna, since you give your mom a tough time. So I mean, I really feel good that you came. Thank you so much.
I mean, thank you so much for having me.
She's shy, no?
So shy.
No, but thank you. It's really been a pleasure. But thank you so much, Dr. Madan, for giving us so much
Delighted.
of our valuable time and coming on the podcast, Unplanned Life. And clearly, your life has really been unplanned, has taken twists and turns. But here you're helping so many people to plan their unplanned lives. A message you would like to give our viewers?
You know, I feel that some people are self-made, and there is one more category which is God-made. I think I'm amongst those. When when आपके मन का नहीं होता तो उसके मन का होता है. So sometimes one has to take a leap of faith and say that there is some learning, there is some understanding, and there is some courage I need to be out of this situation. If you can trust and move forward, it's just going to be like from a caterpillar to a journey and becoming a beautiful butterfly. But that courage, that strength, and that faith is required.
And it really comes from within. But thank you so much. It's really been a pleasure. Thank you.